So Marjorie has asked us to update the ideas in the book. So it's a children's book from a long time ago. It's about how toys become real. And Marjorie thinks that the world has lost their way in understanding themselves and understanding how to be real. So she'd like us and the audience to find what it means to be real in 2017.
With it being based on a children's book, is it aimed at children, is it aimed at adults, or is it aimed at families?
It's aimed at adults. Specifically, we're looking at that kind of millennial generation who are a bit lost. A lot of us are very lost in terms of direction, and a lot of people are waiting for this epiphany about who they are. And I think the show explores how that's a load of rubbish, and how just knowing yourself isn't necessarily a realisation, it's just a getting on with life type experience.
Mm-hmm. And how many people are in the cast?
There's just myself and Sarah Weston. We are thought playing theatre, and we're a sort of theatre making duo. Very rarely play characters on stage. We're a kind of like ourselves and the audience, and we create kind of experiences, interactive experiences for the audience in all of our shows.
So how long has your theatre company been going?
So we started in 2010. We were known by a different name back then, and we did the Buxton Fringe was our first ever show. And we've sort of been creating a kind of a piece a year. So this is our 5th piece, I think, with a couple of years gap. Just creating shows for fringe festivals, really.
Excellent. What kind of shows have you produced before?
So the show that we did last year, which we did at the Oldham Colliseum for First Break Festival, was called Prefer Not to Say, and that is the actual title of the show. It's not me being rude. And that piece was about identity and about sort of how we label ourselves with a lot of things. So this, I guess, Velveteen is a kind of extension of exploring those ideas about ourselves. When we first started in this kind of theatre making kind of canon, if you will, we realised we were starting to make theatre about us, and then we didn't like it, so we sort of threw an entire show away, revamped Prefer Not to Say, and I think we're sort of still on the journey of discovering like what people think about themselves.
Excellent, excellent. So you said before there was a task about discovering the real you and that kind of thing. So do the audience get involved? Is it immersive? Is it interactive?
It's an interactive show, so it's a task that's been set for us as thought playing and the audience to discover what are the challenges of growing up, what are the challenges of being a real woman, and what are the challenges of ageing, and all of these things that people have very different perspectives on, but actually we all get fed the same idea, so it's interesting to see how everyone will interpret that. We did some research for the show with a group of sort of 9-10-year-olds, and we asked them what it means to be real, and we got loads of ideas from them. So we're using some of their ideas of, like, they were like, being real means being honest, being not real is when you're naughty in school, or being real is being nice to people or your family. So we're sort of exploring the ideas from the children and with the audience as well.
Excellent, excellent. So do you think that the ideas from the children have differed greatly from the ideas from the adults?
Well, that's what we'll see, I suppose. I think it's all about kind of, at that age, when these children are just on the turn of like just becoming teenagers, I guess, kind of just going into that sort of part of their lives, and how those ideas are they still present in an adult audience? Are they warped by anything? Are they as optimistic as some of the things that children said? I think we're really excited to see how that changes according to which audiences we get.
So it could be a different show every night.
Yes, that's something that we do quite a lot, and sometimes we think, why have we done this? We've just given ourselves such a bigger task than we need to. So with Prefer Not to Say, for example, the audience voted which part we played in the show every night. So we could have been playing either the coach or the sort of challengee every night, and the audience got an actual vote on that. We rehearsed it both ways, so we often do shows that live in the moment.
So you must know each other quite well to be able to do that kind of swapping roles and everything. How did you meet?
So we met millions of years ago at a drama club in Liverpool. I think because we sort of grew up together, like not in school but just at that drama club, we sort of grew up making theatre and like doing theatre together from that sort of Saturday school, and then we sort of just stayed friends, and then we started making theatre together in 2010, and it went really well, so we were like, oh gosh, this is nice, let's keep doing this. But yeah, we are really good friends, which I think helps the rehearsal process and everything. So
how old were you when you met then? Childhood friends?
Yeah, like 10. Oh. So we're turning 27 this year, both of us, so yeah, it's been a long old friendship.
So was this a favourite childhood book?
I think Sarah brought the book to sort of the rehearsal space, so to speak, as a favourite childhood book, and I'd actually never read it. And I think a lot of people have either love it or they've never heard of it. So when I read it as an adult for the first time, I saw the kind of darkness in it and how it's about becoming real through like heartbreak and sort of these really strange, quite dark ideas that I was really shocked to read in a children's book. And obviously Sarah had sort of come to it from childhood, so it's really interesting to throw those contrasts around.
Books are always different when you read them at different ages, aren't they?
Definitely. I think because I was aware that we're about to do a show, I was like, we were going to start exploring a show about the book. At that point we didn't know whether it was going to be an adaptation or whether it was going to be whatever it was going to be. But yeah, that was really strange reading it. I was like, I can't believe this is a children's book, I can't believe it. Which is why, I think it's really good to put into this context. So we took Marjorie Williams, which is me, into this research with these kids, and we told them, this is Margery Williams, she's the author of the Velveteen Rabbit, and they bought it more well than we thought they were going to. Mm-hmm. So they thought I was a famous author, I was speaking in a different voice, and sort of grade up and all these things, and they genuinely believed it, and they started to be like, will you sign our books for us, can we get a photo with you, and all these things. And we explored what it means to be real through the thing of Marjorie set you a task, which is what is now translated into the task of the show. And they absolutely bought it, even when they'd gone away and Googled the fact that Marjorie Williams is dead. Yeah. And they came in and they went, we've read this on the internet. They started to tell themselves, they were like, oh, it must be your mum or something. And I'm like, yeah, well, whatever you believe. Obviously, the whole thing explores this idea of what is real and what is not real. So they believed I was real because I told them I was real, and because we were having an experience together. And that whole idea of the fake and the real was something really interesting, and that's, again, translated into the show.
Wow. So have you had any contact with her estate, with her family? No,
we've not. And we're sort of, we're going completely away. We're not trying to impersonate her or anything like that. We're just presenting the ideas of her book and presenting the idea of someone impersonating her, as opposed to trying to literally play Margery Williams.
This is quite interesting because at the moment there's so much talk about false news and fake news. Yeah. So is that something that you've taken on board for the show as well?
I think it's just been a really nice consequence, and that when the children and when eventually the audiences and people can be like, obviously it's not real, we're like, well, in that moment, did you believe it? Did you play along with it? And I think it's been a really nice thing where actually in social media and fake news, people are just playing along with things, or even the news outlets are just playing along with this story, and actually false news comes about because of a collective belief, and that's what we want to create around Marjorie, is this collective belief that this woman, who is clearly me, is the author of the Velveteen Rabbit, and that worked with the young people, like I say, far too well. And when we revealed it to a couple of them at the end, they were absolutely heartbroken, and you sort of feel this, oh my gosh, they really believed it and how much they put into it. So I think that false news and the kind of collective belief is something we've been really interested in.
How long ago was it written then?
The book? Oh gosh, I should know this. I'm going to say early 20th century. Sort of thing, and I think
it's something that's been passed down through generations, a bit like Enid Blyton in the old days.
I think in America especially, because my reference is Friends, so it's Chandler's favourite book on Friends, which is how I'd heard of it. So I think it is quite a cherished childhood book to those who read it when they were younger. And again, Sarah's mum is American, so perhaps that's how maybe it's more beloved over there than it's sort of known here. But it's widely available, so to read.
Excellent, in all good bookshops and second-hand shops, probably.
It is indeed, I'm sure it is. We've got a copy over there as well. So yeah, it's a wonderful book. It's not a long read, but again, it's that dark sort of darkness in it that we like.
There's a lot of adult messages in children's books, though, aren't there?
Yeah, definitely.
I think based on the fact that adults are going to read them to their children, it's entertaining on two levels.
It's one of those things like where she's written the book and it is like a lesson. And there's this one scene in particular where the rabbit is asking this older toy, what does it mean to be real? And the description is, it's when all of your hair has been loved off and your joints get loose and your eyes drop out and all of this stuff. And the rabbit's like, great, that sounds wonderful. And it's such a mad idea to feed children, is that's when we are at our best, is when we're like loved apart, basically. It's a really dark idea. Really does.